That's just for this run. The other ones will have the back on the monitor over here. What? He's right here.
Hi.
You can be behind him as long as you're quiet and not in the way.
If you want to read comments, now is pretty much the only time where there's really nothing going on.
Yeah, I've got one more. So
Okay,
Nathan Schutz donated $10. I just spent almost the entire day watching this stream. Keep up the good work. Put this donations towards Mega Mari. Thank you very much.
Is it bright enough on stream?
Okay, we got a few more, so I'm just gonna keep going and you cut me off, okay?
Yeah, go for it. I mean, first room, nothing's going on.
Jonathan Radmer donated $5. Shoutouts to based AdamAK from Spaghetti Mart. Thank you for making this game more entertaining than YouTube personalities ever could.
Let me know at any time if you want to increase the volume on the screen.
I'm not desperate for audio, to be honest. There's only a couple of, like, kind of audio cues that I need, but nothing too important. Shoutouts to VG, by the way. I enjoyed visiting you guys, and I will visit you in the future as well.
Brian Sanchez donated $5. He's quite amused that we read his donation and how he was excited for Isaac right when he died the second time. He says that I can only assume that I jinxed him. Sorry about that. Here's $5 more. P.S. I'd like to put my two donations towards Ratchet and Clank, all things Pokemon, and all things Zelda. Good luck. So, we're not entirely sure what you're specifying there, if it's a challenge or a file name. So if you could PM SDA Marathon in IRC and clarify that, we can get your donation towards the right target. If you do that, please make sure that when you're PMing SDA Marathon about your donations that you tell us what email you donated under so we can verify that you're the one that donated.
Ooh, got a stairs boost. Whenever you jump downstairs, there's a slight chance that you'll actually land on the corner of one of those steps, and then the game just randomly launches you forward. So it's a tiny time saver, but you know, anything is welcome in a speedrun. Saves like 1 second roughly, and it rarely happens. So.
Well, especially since in this part your walk speed is really slow.
Yes. I also have to actually stay within bounds in this section, well, in the first area, because I need to walk through certain triggers to actually increase my walking speed. Every time you hit some kind of trigger where some, you know, weird stuff goes on, my walking speed gets increased. I enter this room where you can actually find the lantern to trigger the final thing, this whirlwind, and that increases my running speed again, and then I just
Welcome
flip out
to
of that
Amnesia.
because
So,
this is
do
pretty
anything
much
special, or do you just jump there and then you're out?
you actually have to kind of crouch jump. You have to wiggle yourself into a very specific position, and then crouch jump, and then you're out of bounds, basically.
Yeah, and if you're wondering how Amnesia gets speedrun, that's how.
This is it. Yeah, expect this game to be horribly, horribly broken. It is not going to be anything like a regular playthrough, which should be a bit more entertaining, I hope. So that was the first out of bounds part, but it's not going to end here. I'm going to boost my way up onto the upper floor here. This is a bit of a nasty boost. I have to use this rubble here to kind of jump up, and then as I'm jumping up, I jump up a second time somehow.
And that skips one of the triggers, right?
Yes, this skips a flashback trigger. During a speedrun, I want to skip as many flashback triggers as possible because they suck, basically. They really reduce my running speed, and I don't want that, clearly.
This is chairless, right?
This is chairless, by the way, so here you go, LaFoc. But basically what I did, I'm going to pause here for a second and just explain what I did. I jumped into this window area, which is actually too small for Daniel to actually fit in there. So whenever I try to run around and try to jump, the game just kind of freaks out and doesn't really know how to handle it. So it just launches me out of bounds, basically. That happens surprisingly often in this game.
And you just skipped the entire laboratory puzzle.
I skipped a lot of gameplay in this section, basically. I skipped the whole puzzle where you have to make the acid to dissolve the red tube that's blocking the door and everything. I skipped like 5 areas in one go, pretty much. And that's just with one trick, so yeah. This area is just pitch black. You have to sit through kind of dull flashback. And yeah, not much going on here yet. Up until this point. This is the first monster encounter. It's going to be one of many, by the way. So normally what you do during a regular playthrough is that you know, go and hide and wait until he's gone, but we don't really have the time for it. So I'm just going to run past him, close the door on him as well. He's going to spend some time trying to bash through it, and in the meantime I'm going to move away these boxes, grab one of these boxes and solve this puzzle real quickly on the fly. need to hit this stick in the ceiling there. Okay, and then just flip this thing, and we can go to the next area. Let's see, I got the jump. It's possible to actually jump and crouch at a very specific time, which then allows you to fall straight through the gap without being slowed down at any point of time. Again, it's a pretty tiny trick, but I mean, anything is welcome during the speedrun. So the area that we enter now is the infamous water part, which has probably terrified quite a lot of people, and I'm just going to trivialize it basically.
And you're here already in like, what, 5 minutes?
Yeah, this is pretty much 5 minutes in, I think. I intentionally walked through the water for a short while there, just to pull the monster into the room, and then that gives me precisely enough room to actually, you know, pass by him without him being able to punch me. Here I pick up the box and just push the arm into the water, and he's going to run over and grab it at some point. There we go. That should be it. Yeah, normally audio cues would be useful at this point, but I can do it without them as well. What I do here is that I grab the valve and turn it around while walking into the door. There's quite a bit of leeway for where you can stand while grabbing and using items, and apparently, you know, you can stand pretty far away sometimes. Grab the hollow needle, not the pot, okay, and we're through. So that was the terrifying water section, basically.
There was a monster there?
There was a monster. There were actually 2 monsters there, but I mean, I basically kind of ignored one of them, and the other one was distracted.
You make it kind of easy to forget that they're there.
Yeah. This is the only section where the monster can actually kind of possibly kill me. I have to do a really nasty boost here. There's some goo right next to the wall there, and I have to run into it and spam the jump button, basically. And with a bit of luck, I'll be able to launch myself upward really high, and that will push me out of bounds. I'm going to try this a couple more times. I think the monster... Oh crap, he's already here. He punched me already, so I'm just going to let myself die. Because that will make me respawn with full health, and then I could just try the trick real quickly again.
And that's why it's tricky, is because you're on a time limit until he gets to you.
Exactly, yeah. So I'm going to try this one more time. If I don't get this on the first couple of tries, I'll just run through the time, because I don't want to waste too much time on it. It's a cool trick, but, you know, we still have to do this the speedy way. I'm getting pretty high, but I'm not getting high enough to actually make it all the way out of bounds.
I can't remember if you got this at Sandython.
I usually get this actually, yeah. Okay, screw it. I'm just going to skip this trick. Believe me that there is basically a way to launch yourself out of bounds, and
There'll be plenty more.
yeah, there's going to be plenty more of out of bounds sequences anyway, so you're not missing out on the most interesting stuff just yet. There are actually 2 paths you can take. You can either go left or right, and the right path is slightly quicker. It's just a few seconds worth of difference.
That is wonderful.
We're beating League of Legends?
No, we are.
We beat League of Legends while
Nice.
we were playing Dial.
Yeah.
Better game.
Apparently.
Congrats to Kirk Q then. Okay, so now we're in the back hall. This is a kind of uneventful area. This is one of the least broken areas, actually. I'm going to try and do a fancy boost onto the upper floor. This is a bit of a tricky one. I'm going to give it one more go. If it doesn't happen, I'll just use the stairs, basically. Okay. Didn't happen. Clearly marathon luck, of course. If you get the skip, then it saves like 6 seconds, roughly. And it looks fancy.
So just to confirm, those times when you're going out of bounds and you're falling past a door and clicking it, you can just fall past it and miss it, right?
Yes, you can, and then you waste like at least 20 seconds basically falling down until you hit the killing floor. And then you respawn somewhere within that again. So, there's lots of rooms in this area, but there's only one actually relevant room that we need to go to. I'm going to break this window and just jump around outside.
So you just wiggled at it and broke?
Yeah, you just kind of click on it basically, and then it suddenly breaks. Got to grab the rod here. This is the first rod that we need to pick up. Got to also fill up my my lantern, but if you look at my inventory, I don't actually have a lantern, so I've just filled up something with oil, except I don't know what it is really.
Maybe your pants?
Yeah, it could be my pants, could be anything really. Got to show you a fancy out of bounds trick here. Again, using some rubble to boost myself out of bounds like so, and then you can just go straight to the door without having to go outside again and, you know, do the weird platforming. And this is of course slightly riskier because I have to open up this door from the other side. So I'm going to do this a bit carefully. There we go. So I actually opened up the door while falling down. There's a very small time window to do this, but you know, I'm trained in this game, so I actually got it. No room is really complete without some out-of-bounds parts, so we're just going to go out-of-bounds here as well. This is one of the easiest tricks, by the way. Basically what I have to do is just jump into this kind of corner next to this, in between this wall and the shelf here. And then if I do this correctly and the game actually cooperates, yeah, the character just kind of starts wiggling around and then suddenly you get pushed through the wall.
Does that work with the slower walking speed, or do you have to wait for that to finish?
It actually works during the cutscene as well, yeah, but it's a bit luck-based, so sometimes it doesn't work out straight away. And the monster does actually spawn in here. I don't think he can see me. He's just going to walk around a bit, and I exit the area in the meantime. So normally what's supposed to happen is that you hide from the monster, obviously, until he's gone, but I just kind of skip the whole bloody part. It's possible to get a small boot. Whoa, that was interesting. It's possible to get a small boost off the back of that eagle. You get launched forward a bit. I'm going to try and get a stairs boost here, but I'm not really counting on it. It happens like once every 100 times you walk down some stairs. So here we have to collect the next two rods to fix the elevator. But before we do that, we have to make a drill. So when you pick up this drill bit, you spawn a monster right here. He's going to follow me. What I do next is just trigger a flashback, because whenever you trigger a flashback, monsters just ignore you completely. So you can't really see me.
And that's because you slow down during a flashback and they'd kill you if they didn't do that?
Exactly. I mean, it would be kind of unfair from the game if you would simply die whenever you trigger a flashback and there's a monster around. Because there's just no way to avoid them. They're quicker than I am, even when there's no flashback, so during a flashback when my walking speed is reduced quite considerably, you know, there's just no way to outrun them. So I've got all the drill bits. I'm going to combine them real quickly and use it onto this barrel. And then I'm going to use this chemistry pot. But you might have noticed that I actually never picked up this chemistry pot. This is due to one of the patches that Frictional Games actually made for this game. There used to be a glitch where you could reach this area without ever solving the puzzle involving the chemistry pot. And considering that you need the chemistry pot in this area to actually get through it, you know, players would just get stuck here permanently. So rather than fixing this glitch that you could actually reach this area without the chemistry pod, they simply put in a trigger earlier in the game that checks whether you've got the thing. If you do have it, then nothing happens. If you don't have it, they actually just give you one. So, funnily enough, playing this game on the latest patch is actually best for speedrunning. Simply because that's not very common, no. Usually the vanilla version is the 1.0 version is the quickest to speedrun because, you know, they fixed the fewest glitches. This is like one of the very few exceptions where playing the patched version is actually the quickest. It saves like probably 4 to 5 minutes at least in a speedrun setting. Here I just have to kind of sit through some flashbacks. It is possible to get to bounds and do all of this stuff from outside these boundaries, but that's just not safe for a single segment run at all. So I'm not even going to try doing it. Picks up the last 2 rods and that makes another monster spawn. He's going to chase me for a while. So basically you have to run away really quickly. You're going to take a couple of shortcuts like walking on top of this table. He actually has to walk around the rubble. So this is, you know, it makes me slightly quicker, relatively speaking. And I cut these corners pretty closely as well, so then he just loses sight of me. As soon as he loses sight of me, he just stops tracking me. Oh, here's another monster.
He took a swing.
He did a swing, yes, but his aim is not exactly great, so he missed this swing, and that slows him down a bit, so that actually gives me enough time to reach this door right here.
Is there a chance of him actually hitting you there?
Yeah, there is. If I would turn around and just look at him and still run away, he would catch up to me. Basically, I've got like half a second worth of room of error, basically, to get away from him. So it can go wrong very easily. I'll walk along the carpet right here because it somehow magically opens up this door automatically, and it skips a flashback trigger. So yeah, and yeah, unfortunately we do have to fix the machine. in the machine room. We've tried very extensively to actually skip this whole area, but we haven't been able to find anything. We have to fix this machine to make the elevator work, and we need the elevator to reach the next area. And there's no particularly interesting glitches in the machine room, so if you're behind on donation comments or something, then there might be a good chance.
Pizza Lawyer donated $5 and says, "Shoutouts to Adam and the crew from Pizza Lawyer. Such is life in Amnesia."
Greetings to you too, Pizza Lawyer.
Robert Smith donated $15. "Hey there, I don't have a sad story since I don't have no one I know has had cancer. But here's to hoping no one does. Shout out Team Liquid." Thank you very much for your donation.
I just throw around these cogwheels, by the way, because carrying them slows me down a bit. And considering that there's two that I actually need to carry for quite a bit of a distance, I just throw them around a bit. Gonna try and get this throw as well. Yeah, cool, got one of them. If you throw them correctly, you can actually fix the machine from a distance. Got two of them even. Okay, let's see if we can get this. One. Okay, missed the last one. Damn it. Two is already really good though. I never really get the third one as well.
Yeah, earlier in practice, one of them kind of swung its way on, but it didn't actually hook on, so you had to fix it anyway.
They can actually get kind of stuck in between the spots where you're supposed to throw them, and then you have to wiggle around for a while to fix it again. You just need 3 pieces of coal to fix it, to fill up this burner. Don't even have to close the door or anything. You just turn it on basically. Last cogwheel here. There we go. Flip the switch, and we're done with the machine room. And then we just need to make our way back to the entrance. It is possible to get out of bounds in this area as well, like pretty much everywhere else in the game, but it doesn't really help you. It's unreliable. You tend to get stuck more often than actually go out of bounds, and it doesn't save you any time, so I just run basically. Slightly easier. Really short section here. Just have to walk up to the elevator, and then I'm actually going to make this elevator leave without me. So there goes the elevator. I walk away, but then, before you know it, I somehow magically teleport back inside the elevator. Don't ask me how it works, but you know, Daniel's a wizard, I guess. And fun fact about this room is that the elevator is actually stationary. It is the room around the elevator that's moving. I guess they did it because moving the elevator would probably mess with the physics, and you probably notice that the physics are not that great in this game. It tends to kind of, you know, break pretty easily. So I figured this was the easier option, basically. And yeah, nothing really, nothing you can really do in that elevator. It's just like 40 seconds of waiting.
And jumping.
And some jumping for entertainment. Gotta entertain the stream, of course. So, feel free to read anything if you...
Christian Gabor donated $13.64 and says, "Love what you guys are doing. Keep it up. Put it towards anything." Apparently it was put towards killing Agrippa to make it a bit closer.
Okay. In this area, I'm actually going to do something strange, if I get inside at least. There's a rock here on the ground, and I'm going to try and pick it up if I can localize it at least. Okay, I have absolutely no clue where it is. I've got a pitch black screen here, basically. I'm used to slightly different brightness settings, so I'm lost. Let's see. Okay, I found my way. Usually what you want to do, when you actually see what's going on, is pick up a rock that's lying on the ground. Normally when you pick up heavy stuff, Daniel actually slows down, but this is the one exception to that rule, because there's some kind of weird trigger that slows you down even more, and then apparently picking up the rock overrides it. Okay, so he needs to try and punch me, as he did, because that makes him fall behind a bit. Then I open up this door, walk inside, trigger the flashback, and he starts ignoring me again. There we go. We can admire his beautiful bum cheeks while we walk away from this area. So there goes the monster. And... okay, there we go. And then I have to walk through a pitch black corridor. I really can't see anything.
Well, that should help right about now, wouldn't it?
I should look at the XSplit window and see what that looks like. Yeah, that might help as well. You don't actually have to combine the hammer and the tipper, by the way, to use it. You can just use it straight away. And this is the cut-off point for where I need to know whether I'm going to save a grip or just let him die. Because there's one item that I need to pick up in this area.
Currently, it's save as $110 to 63.64.
So we're saving him. Cool. It's going to make the run slightly longer, but it also involves an extra monster chase.
With other monsters.
The monster chase is actually kind of optional because I know a way to skip it, but for the entertainment of the stream, I'm going to make it happen anyway. There's a lot of rubble here, and I need to clear it in a very specific order. If you do it in any other order, the rocks will just get stuck inside the walls, and then you waste a lot of time trying to loosen them up again. So, okay, I need to pick up the glass jar in this area. So I have to stick to the right here, and there's going to be a monster spawn somewhere around here. Yeah, there he is, my good friend. I can't actually attract his attention or anything. You can just walk straight towards him and you can go back there. So I just walk ahead. And then in this area, game freezes for a second. Okay, there we go. Just pick up the glass jar, because we're going to need it to save a gripper later on. And here comes the monster chase. There's my good friend. He's going to try and make him punch me, but miss me, of course. And then I'll just stick to the left-hand side and cut my corners really closely. And then, of course, to finish things off, we're going to go out of bounds. So, just run into this rubble here. Oh crap, I actually fell off the level. That can happen whenever you go out of bounds. You can actually kind of bounce off the boundaries, bounce off the level, and then you just fall down for like 15 seconds before he randomly dies. And respawns back in bounds again. That is always the risk of going out of bounds. There's not that much you can do about it. And the game always gives you these awesome hints on how to carry on. Where did the game actually put me? That is a good question now. I think I need to go through here. It put me like ages away from where I was just now. But
Is that because you missed some checks while doing silly things?
No, not really actually. I'm not sure why it put me there. Actually, I'm going to really quickly go to the graphical sections. Whenever I play in full screen mode, my brightness settings just reset once every while. So it was pitch black for me now, and I've just increased the brightness temporarily just to make it slightly easier for me to see where I'm actually going. As always, I just use some rubble to push myself out of bounds. Makes this area a whole lot shorter. Normally you're supposed to find some acid and break down this lock. I just skip all that stuff and go straight to the exit.
I thought you missed it for a second because the loading screen was slow.
It is always very risky. It does happen sometimes that I miss the door. That is pretty much the worst thing that can happen. We're going to do a very simple but very awesome skip here. I'm going to use this rubble here, these broken stairs, to launch myself up. And I'm going to try and land on a very small ledge that's kind of sticking out of the wall there. And that's going to let me go straight to the morgue, if I do it correctly.
If you miss the ledge, there's a brick there, isn't there?
There isn't anywhere else I can stand really. Okay, so we got the boost, and I can just go straight to the morgue. This skips two relatively long areas. Normally I'd have to drain the water, I think, and fix the machine, and then lower some bridges and do some other stuff. But I just go straight to the morgue and skip all that crap. Because, who needs bridges when you can just launch yourself up.
I love that you speedrun this game so much that you're not 100% certain of what it is you're skipping anymore.
Well, I have done a glitchless run before as well, but I generally just stick to the glitched 80% route, because it's the most entertaining one. I occasionally pick up some laudanum, which are potions. That's just kind of a safety thing, really. I shouldn't technically need any potions throughout the run, but there are a couple of occasions where I could lose a bit of health. Losing health reduces my walking speed, which is, of course, usually not that good for a speedrun. So now we're just going to drill this guy's head open, and then stick a needle inside it and stab myself with it, because that's what people do in morgues. Cool. And if I'm quick enough with opening up this door, it is actually possible to avoid all the monster triggers. Normally there's a monster waiting for you on the other side of the door, but if you're actually quick enough, nothing actually spawns. So you can just walk straight to the exit.
Let's get going.
And that's all of the morgue. And now we're going to go and clip straight into the sewers. You might have noticed that I haven't drained the water, so technically I shouldn't be able to enter the sewers, but we're going to do it anyway. Because, you know, amnesia. That's just the way this game works. There's one specific area where I can simply put myself out of bounds. I need to walk up here. This is kind of an inconsistent trick. We found some way of getting it more consistently, and of course I got it on my first try now. Basically I just push myself through the wall there and then go straight to the sewer door, which is flooded, by the way. You can tell that there's water on the other side, but that's no issue for Daniel. He can just open it up. I did have to go through the morgue earlier on to get the antidote against the poisonous mushrooms, but apart from that you can just enter the sewers without any issues. What I do here is drop down and grab the ladder and then jump off straight away. That allows me to reach the lower area slightly more quickly than just, you know, climbing down. And he's ignoring me completely. Okay, there we go. That's a fake monster. He's not actually real. He's just trying to hug me or something. I don't know, but then changing his mode. This is probably the riskiest area of the entire speedrun, and yeah, this is why.
Are you stuck in the rock?
I am stuck inside the rock, yeah.
Okay.
So basically there's no way to escape this now. I actually have to exit the game for a moment and reload my last save, because you're just stuck there permanently. Funnily enough, this has only been happening for the last 2 days, when I was preparing for the marathon. Before that, like in the hundreds of runs I've done before, this never happened. And this is also the only area where I'm actually going to do a safety save, just because there's 2 tricks that can actually really actively screw me over. And in the interest of actually staying within the estimate and such, I'm gonna make a really quick safety save. It should all go right on the first try, but you know, marathon lot.
Chat's loving the commentary, by the way.
Okay, glad to hear it. What just
Adam
happened?
does a good job with the commentary on the Amnesia run.
Okay, cool. So I just clipped out of bounds here using the rubble, and then I boost my way up using the rubble again. Rubble is incredibly useful here. What could have happened just now is that I could have gotten pushed to the left-hand side, and that would have just killed me. But fortunately, I got pushed to the right-hand side, which is exactly what I wanted. And then I just boost my way up onto this tunnel, because you can just do whatever the hell you like in this game, really. This is the spot where I'm going to make the safety save. I'm just going to jump on top of the cylinder, save and exit. Whenever you save and exit, it just saves your position and health and everything, and whenever you reload, that's where you can just start off again. The game doesn't actually check whether you're out of bounds or anything, so it just puts you out of bounds if that's where you saved. Now, this is a very risky trick. Graphical settings are messed up again, so I'm going to fix my brightness settings. And I'm going to explain this trick real quick before I pull it off. What I have to do here is jump straight ahead, like towards this water. This water doesn't actually exist. It might seem like there's water there, but if you fall into it, then you just die. So I need to jump towards the water and then turn around in midair and land on a very small invisible platform. Once I've done that, I need to boost my way up using this corner here, land on a very small ledge, walk along this ledge and drop down onto a tunnel, hopefully all without taking any damage whatsoever. This trick is one of the main reasons why running this game and doing world record attempts and such is just an absolute nightmare, because you reset a lot in this area. So I got the first jump, past an invisible wall onto the invisible platform, boosted my way up onto the ledge, and I dropped down onto this tunnel. Took a tiny bit of damage, but it's negligible. So this is pretty much as good as it will ever get, this trick. This was a really good execution of the trick. It's probably one of the hardest tricks of the entire speedrun, although of course I just made it seem kind of tricky, because that's what happens during marathons. Oh my god. That did not just happen.
Well, you made a safety save.
Yeah, but I made the safety save before I did the tricky trick. So
I was just about to mention how you actually needed that save during Sandython, and
yeah, okay.
I guess we needed it again.
Yeah, chat's exploded.
That has never happened before, by the way. That is pretty much the most trivial thing that could have gone wrong during this entire run, I think.
So the speedrunning tradition of making the hard trick and
And I
screwing
just
up
got
the easy one.
I got the stupid trick a second
Save for
time.
blue seconds. It's a
Yeah.
good.
Dude, don't die again. Don't you dare. You know what? We're just going to make a safety save again. We're not risking this. It should go wrong. It should go right, but I'm just not going to. Yeah, even this Freudian slip of the tongue there. This is a really nasty jump as well, by the way. I need to jump like around this stupid pillar or whatever it is, but you can get stuck on it and just bounce off the level and then die, just like I did a couple of seconds ago. People who've played this game probably remember that this section is kind of terrifying. I remember screaming like a little girl the first time I played this game, and I'm not ashamed of it. But, you know, when you do it this way, it's slightly less scary. To get back into bounds, I just grab the ladder, by the way. That's clearly how things work
Is
in
this
real
your
life as
revenge
well.
on the game?
Sorry?
Is this just your revenge on the game for scaring you?
Yeah, I just ignore all the monsters. They weren't very nice to me the first time I met them. I don't want to meet them again.
Is that the sewer part where there's like one of the nastier grunts who like listens for
Yes.
the rocks you have to throw? Yeah.
Exactly.
I now remember that part.
That part was traumatizing.
It looks different when you're at this angle. It's.
In an attempt to make things, in an attempt to keep things fancy, I'm just going to skip this staircase. I'm actually going to drop down onto these ledges and like, you know, because Daniel doesn't like stairs. Got it without taking any damage. Coming up next is my favourite trick of the entire speedrun. It is called the shovel trick, and you'll see why this is the shovel trick.
Shovels are amazing.
What you need is a shovel. I just grab it and drop it next to a wall. It has to be a very specific wall, and you have to drop it down at a very specific part. So I'm gonna take a moment of time to actually position it correctly, and I'm gonna wait for the flashback to end just so that you guys can actually see what's going on.
And you can look at that fine shovel.
Yeah, we can enjoy the shovel and the hammer as well. The hammer is pretty cool too. And the hammer just got eaten by the wall, by the way. So yeah, it is stuck there. Oh, actually I got it unstuck again. But yeah, walls eat shovels, walls eat hammers. Don't ask me how that works. Anyway, I'm going to jump on top of this shovel, and if all goes well, I will actually zip through 2 walls. This trick is not always very cooperative, but it looks pretty cool, so I'm going to do it. Position is kind of finicky, but when you get it, this happens. So yeah, that is the magic of the shovel.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but can you do the shovel trick with a chair? What's the
Not
other
really.
object you can do it with?
I don't think you can really do it consistently with anything else.
I remember Andre said he did do it with something else. though.
I mean, you can clip out of bounds with a chair as well, but
Oh.
that's awful, absolutely awful.
Okay.
What I actually skipped with this shovel trick, by the way, is opening up these doors. So I'm actually kind of stuck in this area. I'll have to deal with that somehow later on. You'll see how I figure out a way to actually exit this area. But first things first, I'm going to go to the choir and pick up some orb pieces.
Because you need them, otherwise the game just sort of freaks out.
Yeah, I'm not going to use the orb pieces, but I still need them. You'll see why. Just hopping down these stairs, hoping to get a stairs boost. It rarely happens, but you know, when it does happen, it does look pretty fancy.
Do you reckon there'll be time at the end of the run to show why you need yours?
I'm hoping to show it, yeah. Once I finish the run, I'm going to try and show you guys why we actually need to collect all the orb pieces and what happens when you don't do it.
You're gonna make a save like right when you.
There's going to be an autosave there, so I can
Okay.
just load it. Oh, look, my brightness settings got screwed up again. I don't get it. Whenever I play this game in full screen mode, my brightness settings just get reset once every couple of minutes. Whenever I play in windowed mode, everything's fine. So
Windowed mode uses the monitor settings, so you can't adjust the gamma once in windowed for most programs. That's probably why.
could be. Picking up some extra laudanum here shouldn't be necessary, but you never know. It's a marathon run. Things go wrong, as we've seen already. I'll skip the jump scare here because nobody likes jump scares. There should not be any jump scares in Amnesia. Basically, it's just a really loud noise that thing makes. So that's the first orb piece. That's the easiest one to pick up. No real challenge to it. Second one is going to be slightly more interesting. I am going to boost my way up onto one of these pipes up here. I'm going to use this specific pillar because it makes it really easy. Just walk on top of this pipe, and now I cross the gap right below me. Rather than using the bridge, I just use this pipe. Now, this is not actually you know, why I use this pipe, because I could just as well use the bridge. The main thing why I use this pipe is because it allows me to skip some monster triggers. So normally if you just walk on top of the ground, there's a couple of monster triggers which make these really nasty monsters spawn right in front of my path. And, and they're quite a bit quicker than I am, so I can't really avoid them. I'd have to, you know, find some kind of awkward route to actually avoid the monsters and reach this orb piece. So there we go, second orb piece. And no monsters, fortunately. It's not going to be quite as easy for the third orb piece. There's actually going to be a monster right on my tail as I try to go out of bounds. Hate this jump, by the way. The only time I've failed it is right now. Oh. I didn't even jump this time, I think.
And the game's trying to help you. It says watch your stealth.
Yeah, it tells me watch my stealth. It knows exactly what's going on. This is going to be interesting, actually. I am not entirely sure how this is going to work out, but we'll figure out something. I heard a monster roar, so we're going to have some fun with some monsters, probably. These guys are like 40% quicker than I am, so there's just no way in hell that I'm going to outrun them. And I can't really see them with these brightness settings. So, let's see where he is. He's probably somewhere behind me, having fun. I don't know. Anyway, we're just going to use this corner right here to clip out of bounds. That was stupidly quick. That is actually not the easiest clip, to be honest, and of course during a marathon it has to seem trivial. Now I'm going to boost my way up onto the ceiling and just walk on top of this tunnel. This is again a really nasty jump. Gotta do it kind of carefully. What I have to do here is basically jump into this void again. There's no floor or anything to catch me there, so I need to jump towards that direction, then turn around in mid-air and hope that I land on this really small ledge that kind of sticks out of the room. This might go wrong. I'm tempted to make a safety save, but for your entertainment I'm just going to use YOLO strats and fail it. I actually got the jump. That's the annoying bit. You can actually get the jump and then still somehow miraculously bounce off the level and just fall into the void anyway. So yeah, we're going to try this one more time. Maybe I should make that safety save.
The chat is now shouting out the YOLO strats.
YOLO strats. Oh man, that's good.
Okay, so we're going to go back there. As far as I know, there's not going to be a monster on the way, I hope. These monster spawns are sometimes a bit inconsistent from what I've noticed, especially in this area. So we'll see how things actually work out. He might be, you know, directly in my path, and then we're just going to mess around with the monster as well and hope that we can lose him somehow. Which is tricky, but really good fun. Unless you're terrified of a monster, of course, in which case you should just hide and cry. So let's try this clip again. There we go. Got it stupidly quickly again. And do some fancy hopping out here. Boost my way up. There we go. I have no idea how I'm doing this so well, because normally this takes absolutely forever. And YOLO Strats Volume 2. Got the jump. Okay, we made it this time. So yeah, you can see how narrow this ledge is. I have to like really hug the wall. I pick up the last orb piece and then intentionally actually fall off the level, because this is quicker than just walking back to the main door. If I'd want to walk back to the main door, I'd have to sit through a really long flashback. It's like a 50-second flashback, and walk for like a minute or something. So even if you fail this trick, as I did, and simply redo it, it's probably still roughly as quick as just staying within bounds.
Hey Adam, they're close.
They are close. Oh crap. Good thing the game gave me that hint. I hadn't noticed yet. They could be anywhere.
But they're close. So
I can't look at this.
I think they just want to hug.
Could be. That's the most exciting area, by the way. I just walked straight and then opened the door.
Hallway simulator.
The one room you have never practiced.
Oh god, okay, I'm gonna have to fix my brightness settings again. Sorry for this, by the way. There's not much I can do about it. It's just because after playing full game.
I like how the slider's still in the correct spot, so you have to
Yes.
wiggle it left and put it back.
Exactly. That's the fun part. I'm going to grab this chair here because it's kind of going to come in handy soon. As I mentioned before, when I did this fancy shovel trick, the most awesome trick in the entire speedrun, I skipped this whole door opening thing, so this thing is stuck. There's like no way to escape from this area, except for going out of bounds, of course. This is kind of a risky trick, by the way, and there's only one spot where I can do it. It's very likely that I will die on my first try. Basically, what I have to do is jump into this pillar, and then with a bit of luck, the game will just make me clip through. You can actually see the other side already just now, but it didn't clip me through all the way. So let's try this again, and I nearly had it, but didn't fly up quite high enough.
That's a fine level.
Someone in the chat has asked, is this what happens when you play too much Mirror's Edge, then play Amnesia?
Actually, I've got Mirror's Edge installed, but I haven't played it. I've had it installed for ages. I think if I would play it, I would just use Amnesia strat for it and see what happens. Oh, and apparently they are close, by the way. That's...
Do they have shambles in Mirror's Edge?
No,
Maybe it's the
too
DLC.
futuristic for
Oh, wow. Got it on the first jump.
Well, no, not really.
So, we're out of bounds now.
Armchairs.
Having fun out of bounds, always. And there's a really high wall here, but I skip it by simply boosting my way up and then just jumping past it. We're going to go all radical Larry here and just run straight through this wall. Just clip straight through it. Because that's how physics work in real life as well. And then we go to the transept. We're going to pick up a couple of ore pieces here as well. And then we're going to head off to the chancel and have some more fun. What I'm going to do here is, this is a tiny trick. I basically boost my way up onto this pipe and then kind of hug the wall. This skips a flashback trigger. I am going to trigger this flashback later on. I simply don't trigger it right now because when I trigger it later, part of it actually runs during a loading screen, which saves me some time. Then it doesn't really matter that I trigger the flashback anymore. Alexander is looking lovely today. I'm going to pick up this piece of string here and go back down again. All this hassle for a bit of string. Such is life in Amnesia.
I'm confused. Why does Alexander actually look lovely? Usually he looks...
That depends on your sanity, actually. My sanity currently is head is pounding and hands are shaking, which is relatively bad. Normally I'm at a bit of a better sanity, but whenever you go slightly insane, the area actually changes as well. So sometimes, you know, corpses appear or something, or sometimes the portraits change and such. So I mean, there are some changes to the areas just to make it slightly more spooky. And I'm pretty sure that all of the chat is utterly spooked now. You are terrified.
It's so scary.
It is terrifying. Zasper, do you want to take care of it? I'm not sure I can handle this anymore.
If you were on the other side of the table, I'd have to ask for a hug.
You want me to take care of it? I played this game for like 10 minutes. You were in the Skype call.
Yeah, that was fun.
Speedrunning
That was
strats.
fun.
You need someone to hug you at all times just to give you the courage to run the game as fast as possible.
Please do, please do. Oh, thank you.
We're here for you, Adam.
That makes me feel good. I picked up the second ore piece. That's number 5 in total. There's going to be one more that I need to pick up. Have to sit through this flashback, unfortunately. There is a way to skip it. It's awful though, and it's slower than actually just going through the flashback, so I'm not even going to try and do it. It's incredibly risky, and it's just not fun to do, basically. How did this flashback just trigger? That's a new one. Find out something new about this game every day. In the past 24 hours or something, I've discovered like 3 or 4 new glitches that I have, in the past 12 months of speedrunning this game, never encountered. That's like ultimate marathon life, basically. I can't explain it in any other way. So on my way out of this area, I'm going to trigger the flashback again, and actually not again. I'm just going to trigger the flashback and have part of it run during the loading screen, because, well, who cares what happens during the loading screen? That doesn't usually count towards SDA time. Now we're kind of stuck in this same nasty situation where we're kind of, you know, we can't exit this tunnel normally because the door is blocked. I skipped that puzzle earlier on with the shovel trick. There's 2 ways to escape this area. I can either jump into this pit and just kill myself. That's a kind of slow strat. And the quicker strat is to run into this pillar right here and jump at the last second and then hopefully just launch myself out of bounds. This trick is kind of random, so it usually takes a couple of tries. It is cool though. It is more fun than just killing myself and staying within bounds, so even if it's slightly slower, due to marathon luck, I'm going to pull it off anyway.
So did you and Andre just like run at every single part of every wall
Yes.
several times jumping?
Yes.
You just
Yes, we
went
have.
through the pillar.
Yeah, I clipped through the pillar, so you can tell that this part is kind of broken. That's already an indication that you can probably pull something cool off. And there's my brightness settings. Can you actually tell on stream? Oh, okay, I got the jump now.
Oh yeah, it just changed on
We
stream.
couldn't see it.
It
very
changes
well,
on stream
so
as well?
we're gonna
Okay,
have
hang
to
on.
do that again.
Let me fix it again. So yeah, sliders on 2. And then I put it on 2 again and it fixes itself. That's just Harry Potter magic right here. And then I'm going to boost my way up onto this, using this pillar, onto the roof right here. You can see here, by the way, that there's a gap in between the wall that I clipped through and the area that I actually landed on. Hence why I actually have to do the jump. If I don't do the jump, I just fall into the pit and die exactly the same way you've seen me die numerous times before. To get back into bounds, I just run into a corner and apparently that's all you need really for this game. Oh, Agrippa just woke up. What's up, Agrippa? Gonna save him real quickly. If I don't flip this lever, he ends up dying. And considering that the donation for saving the guy is winning, you know, we do want to save him. I don't particularly like him, but it's a democracy here at SDA, so
Kind of.
More
Kind
money,
of.
more votes.
Except-
Ending with him is a little interesting compared to the revenge one, in terms of which is better for.
Actually, I'm going to show off the revenge ending as well,
Yeah.
just because I can do something during the credit sequence, which is kind of unexpected. You'd think that the game and its brokenness ends during the final sections of it.
No.
But no, in this game you can actually break the game twice at 2 spots during the credit sequence. I'm just going to mess around with the monsters right here just to show that they're actually really friendly and they're not particularly smart. So there's like 3 of them, and they can't reach me here. So they just kind of run around, and I'm gonna try and get a high five from him. Come on, dude. He's not a bro. What about him? Come on, dude.
Oh,
You got denied.
I'm even lying down. Come on, you can reach me now. Nothing. Come on.
They even stopped wiggling. Like,
They're just kind of switching around. I'm going insane, by the way.
Well, if I was doing
Oh!
that long,
Ah, there we go. Cool. As a reward for his success, I'm going to try and jump on top of his head. So there we go. I'm standing on top of the monster now. They're trying to punch me,
I did not know that you could do that.
but they can't really do much. I can jump around as well. I can jump around on top of their head. Oh, they kind of actually switched positions now. So I just went from one monster to another.
Would it be possible to like walk
like Yoshi
around,
Island.
just like slowly leading them around?
There's a couple of invisible walls here, so I can't really lead them around all that far. I think they're going to catch me here, probably. I'm just kind of hopping around. Oh, okay. That's cool too. I've never pulled this off, but this is pretty awesome. And the game is telling me to sleep, because when you kill yourself, the best way to get back to life is to sleep.
well, it is pretty late.
like
It is pretty late,
stay
yeah,
at the
yeah.
end, go to sleep.
So fun fact is that what is supposed to happen is that you get punched by the monsters, they basically capture you. But there's 3, I thought there were 2 alternative methods to kill myself, but I just discovered a third method on screen now. Where I kill myself, and apparently that's all you need to just get teleported to the prison.
Adam, sorry to interrupt. Apparently, Amnesia is now #1 on Twitch after League of Legends.
Seriously, screen cap fan. I wanna have
Yes,
screen
yes,
cap.
okay.
Hang on, I'm not actually on it. Someone has reported it in
Every game
IRC.
that's ahead of League of Legends, we need to screen cap.
Yeah, someone go to Twitch front page.
That's a fun way of escaping from the prison, by the way. I just broke the rail and like jumped through the gap. I don't think that's supposed to be possible, but I do it anyway because, you know, why not? And then we just use the key and get out of here. That's probably the quickest prison break in the history of mankind. Daniel's a really strong guy, by the way, so despite all this rubble, he just needs to grab the door and just push everything out of the way. What I do here is make the right-hand side of the cell collapse. You can choose which side to make to collapse, and making the right-hand side collapse is slightly quicker because I'm already on that side. It's possible to use that rubble to go out of bounds as well, by the way. I'm tempted to show it off, just because it's fun. But the issue is that actually exiting the area once you go out of bounds is practically impossible. It is stupidly risky. It's pretty much just a segmented only strat. So that's the only issue with that trick, and my reason for not showing it off. I'm being chased by some rat shadow, but it's like, I don't know, somewhere near the start probably still. It's really slow. And so we go back to the nave.
Adam, I have a question. Did you ever find out where the secret best friend fourth monster came from?
No, I don't have a clue. So that's one of the fun things that I discovered in like the past 24 hours. In that section in the chancel where I was just kind of messing around with the monsters, I once had a fourth monster spawn. I honestly don't have a clue how that's even possible because there's actually really supposed to be 3 monsters. Screw this thing, by the way. Which side do I turn it to again? I don't know.
I think counterclockwise.
Why is it stuck in both directions? Come on, Daniel. No, Daniel, please.
You were just talking about how strong he was, so he wanted to prove you wrong.
There we go. Okay, you can still do it. Okay, rope is pulled up. Just gonna hang some meat from it because that's what you do with ropes. And make it drop down. It's gonna be a monster. It's actually the water monster that eats this meat now. And it's apparently very spooky, so Daniel is spooked. In the meantime, I'm gonna pick up a tinderbox. Because, you know, gotta do something with your spare time. Okay. Very slowly rotate this thing back up again. Daniel's a strong guy, but apparently this is really difficult for him. So we've got all the ingredients to actually save the gripper now. Just need to make the actual potion for it. Now, this area is an area that we've actually been through before, but it's a different version of that area. So it's got the same layout, but there's red goo everywhere, and parts of this area are going to be blocked off as well. I again skip the staircase because, you know, this is cooler, and slightly quicker, of course. But it's mainly just cooler, that's why I do it. Here's my good friend the shovel again. Not going to be able to use him again, unfortunately, despite the fact that I would really love to. And I completely forgot to actually make the potion. So, fortunately, I realised this quickly.
Yes.
So,
it is true. He has forgotten completely to make the potion. He's gone through all of it. And your brightness.
And my brightness is screwed up again, yeah. I do apologise for this, by the way. I'm going to fix it real quickly again. Just like this. Magic. Okay, got the first part of this potion. Flip the lever. And this magical door will just shut itself really quickly. Oh, I need to grab the pot again. There we go. And just put the last thing in there. Strongman Daniel is apparently incapable of rotating this thing quickly. Or adequately. Come on. There we go. And that's the potion done. So we've got Warrior's Tonic now. So we can save a gripper. Bizarre.
He's a very conditional strongman, apparently.
Yeah, very conditional.
He's strong, just not coordinated.
What's up, a gripper? So, funnily enough, saving a gripper kind of involves killing him. So, in a sense, I'm combining both of the donation goals. I'm going to cut off his head after feeding him the potion. Just need to make sure that I actually feed him the potion before I cut off his head, because, you know, otherwise he's not.
You can cut off his head without giving him the potion.
I haven't tried, but I don't really want to try. I'm guessing that it might be possible, so. Lovely sound effects, and there's his head. Just gonna pick it up and yeah, just carry it around because that's what you do with.
Remember when I tried to save him, I forgot to pick up the head. I thought it just went into your inventory.
You need to pick it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we enter the chancel. We've been to the chancel before. This is the area where the monsters were, where I was actually kind of messing around with the monsters. I was just, you know, standing on top of them and such. And this time I've actually loaded a different version of this area. So it might look like it's pretty much the same, apart from the, like, loads of jam that's lying around everywhere. Strawberry jam, I guess.
I was about to ask you what flavor, so thanks for clarifying.
I think it's strawberry. That's my guess, at least. Oh, there's a monster back there, by the way. Say hello to the monster. Although he's rude and doesn't say hello back to us.
Is he the last one we see? Or?
He is the last one we see, yes.
Okay.
So this is the easiest clip in the entire game. Be careful, this is totally serious time. I run into the wall, that's it. There's no effort involved in this, it's just actually literally running into the wall and that's it. So as you can see, I'm actually skipping this puzzle where I use the orb pieces. Just going to check my health real quickly, okay. I'm going to basically just go straight to the door and like ignore all this electricity, because why bother? It takes too long really. It's unavoidable to take damage here. You always take full damage. Like, occasionally you get some kind of really weird boost that somehow prevents the full damage. I have no idea how it's triggered. So that's why I pick up some laudanum on the way as well. being chased by some red shadow again. Gonna flip the switch right here. This is kind of a safety thing. It's not actually absolutely necessary, but I just do it for safety. And final clip of the game, I'm gonna run into this wall and twitch around my mouse, and then before you know it, you just like run through a wall, because why not? That skips about a minute's worth of a puzzle, and it leaves my health at the maximum amount. Throughout the run, you actually want to make sure that your health is really high, because if it falls down too much, you lose a lot of walking speed, and that is basically a run killer. So normally what you do here is just, you know, make these pillars fall over. Instead, I'm going to try and boost my way up to Alexander here, using this pillar. And then we can have a bit of fun
It's
with it.
deceptively hard.
This is really difficult. Like, I need to basically kind of boost my way up and then land on some really small ledge, but there's walls blocking me absolutely everywhere.
The fun thing is it's not the fire dealing damage to you right now.
It is actually the fire.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it is the fire
I
that
thought
is
it
dealing
wasn't the
damage to me. Damn it. Okay, now he's rotating my camera, this bastard. I do actually really want to show off this glitch. I'm tempted to reload if I don't get it.
Are you gonna try and make it all the way to the top?
I could try, yeah. You can actually get really high with this.
I don't think you got this at Sandython either.
No, this is a really hard trick
It's
to pull
hard.
off. Ah, that was a close one. Gonna try and use some laudanum.
And that's the other use for picking up laudanum, so you can try this trick longer.
Yeah, because I need enough speed to actually, you know, to actually make it far enough. That was a close one again. Let's see if I get it. Oh, damn it. Doesn't seem to be happening this
Is
time.
it possible on the other side?
I have never been able to do it on the other side, no. I have no clue how that works. Damn it. Okay, it doesn't seem like I'm getting it, unfortunately.
I thought you had it for a second there.
Damn
Oh.
That was...
it. That seemed like it was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have not been able to get this consistently, unfortunately, so I'm just trying to show it off, but, you know, it doesn't always work out. If the chat desires it, I can always try and reload and try again, but...
So, do you have highlights of this on your channel?
Probably. There has to be a highlight somewhere.
I know you haven't gotten it in a recent run.
I got it during my practice runs earlier on, like
We've got
earlier
it.
today, but...
There's a lot of, the channel is basically spamming reload.
Reload?
Yeah.
Are you sure? I can reload and try
There's
again.
several pages of reload.
And show it off, you Brits.
Okay, reloading it is then. If the chat wants it, we'll reload.
Not gonna correct the right thing.
How's the
Yeah, there's
how's the time? Okay,
we'll have to have a Brit roll call.
okay. I'm only gonna try
I mean,
this a couple
I'll be
more
honest.
times.
You know who it was, but
Oh, that
I
seems
thought
close.
you had it.
It's like you're getting past the damage barrier there.
Yeah, you need to get past the damage barrier. There's basically kind of a wall
Yeah.
running on top of it, and I
But
need
it's
to.
like you are getting past it, but it still isn't working.
Yeah, exactly. I'm high enough, but I'm not getting enough horizontal speed to actually make it all the way through. Let's see. Basically, what I'm thinking is that I just need to boost my way up really quickly, and then I don't know. Just hypothesizing it.
Would mashing help? Like we could do a substitute mashing.
I don't think it's the mashing speed that's going to help me all that much. It might be that my angle is just wrong. That seems so
I
close
thought
again.
it was it.
It always seems like it's it, and
Yeah.
then suddenly there's just random shit going on which kills you. Well, it doesn't kill you, but
Okay,
kills
stupid
the
question. Why is it set up like this?
well, if it doesn't happen this time, I'm just gonna go ahead and wait for the portal to appear.
Because he's playing on his laptop.
I will show off some other glitches while we actually set up for the next game as
So
well, I
that it's
guess.
still captured in the screen.
Considering that the next game is going to be a full-player co-op Left 4 Dead run. It's not? Okay. Flicky's off the team apparently. It's going to be a 3-player. I got it. Okay, cool. So now we can actually admire Agrippa or Alexander's bum from behind. It's PG-13, so I'm not going to show his other side. We can actually clip inside him as well. He always stares at me in this really creepy way. Like, look at him. Beautiful. You can boost your way up on top of this section as well. Get a pretty nice view of the area as well. Yeah, that's pretty much all you can do in this area. I think there's actually a method for clipping out of bounds as well somehow.
there's a very appreciated chat spam there. They're loving that.
They
glad to hear that
you
you're
like this as
enjoying
well. Jaggerty's just asked, have you had a real American hamburger?
Not yet, no. That's going to happen during George Foreman's KO boxing at some point.
There's a nice diner down the street that has some very fun
Gotta grab a
hamburgers.
hamburger, yeah.
Really angry server though, don't go there. If you tell me you added up your numbers wrong, he gets really mad.
Okay,
He
so
charged me for a large, I had regular, and he got super angry at me.
okay, so we're just going to jump off and wait for this portal to open up. That should be it. Just going to chug in and grip his head and that's it. So that's Tom, actually.
And that's saving your grip.
Yeah. Oh, he's dead. Poor Alexander. Such a nice guy. You can walk into the flames as much as you like, by the way. You can take as much damage as you like, you'll still survive. Regardless of what happens.
Is it only after the end, or
Sorry?
is that only after the end, or during that whole portion? That you can...
No, you can always just walk into things. Fun fact about Amnesia is that the only way to die is actually to, like, fall out of bounds or get hit by monsters very often. You can drop down as much as you like from really, really high heights and, you know, drop down to barely conscious as your health level. You'll never die from it though.